When you walk the glittering streets of Shanghai, a city that rockets into the future with every passing second, do you ever truly feel the ground beneath your feet? Or wonder what moves silently, profoundly, far below its incredible surface?
The official narrative surrounding Shanghai's Dixia Cheng, or the underground city, is meticulously maintained. It posits a colossal civil defense network, conceptualized in the late 1960s under Chairman Mao's directive to dig deep tunnels, store grain everywhere, and never seek hegemony. Its purpose was clear: an air raid shelter, a sanctuary for millions in the event of a nuclear attack during the Sino-Soviet split. Publicly, it was said to span roughly 30 kilometers, featuring cafeterias, barbershops, hospitals, even a cinema, a self-sustaining micro-society capable of housing up to 6 million people. It was a testament to Cold War paranoia and national resilience.
And for a time, segments of it were even open to tourists. A curious historical footnote, a glimpse into a bygone era. Yet, by the early 2000s, most of those accessible sections were shuttered, deemed structurally unsound, or repurposed. A monument to a perceived threat, now simply closed. But how does a project of such monumental scale, designed for 6 million souls, simply fade into disuse? 30 kilometres is significant, yes, but what if that figure was less a factual measurement and more a carefully curated ceiling, a designated limit on public perception? What if the underground city was never fully dormant, but merely receded from view, its true extent and function obscured by design?
The official documentation, while extensive in its public-facing summaries, contains curious gaps when subjected to forensic review. Early blueprints, for instance, often featured redacted zones or unspecified utility conduits that did not correlate with any known civilian infrastructure or standard air raid shelter design. These anomalies were typically dismissed as outdated drafting conventions or classified military installations that were subsequently decommissioned. However, fragmented intelligence from various periods suggests a persistent pattern of deep-level excavation reports that continued well beyond the official completion dates, often linked to geological survey teams operating under highly restricted parameters.
So, the story isn't just about what they told us was there, but what they didn't tell us was being built, or perhaps what continued to be expanded long after the Cold War threat supposedly diminished. It starts to feel less like a historical relic and more like a strategic asset operating in plain sight, hidden by its own official history.
Precisely. The Dixia Cheng's superficial role as a civilian shelter rapidly becomes untenable when cross-referenced with unverified accounts and architectural observations. Consider the reports from early urban explorers and even some disillusioned construction workers in the late 90s, prior to the major closures. They described sections far exceeding the advertised tourist routes, areas with reinforced blast doors designed not for air raid defense, but for sustained pressure differentials. Passages not wide enough for civilian evacuation, but optimized for single-file, heavy-duty rail systems, suggesting a logistical rather than a humanitarian primary function. Furthermore, the material composition of certain unearthed sections, an unusual composite, resistant to both seismic activity and specific forms of electromagnetic interference, stands apart from the concrete and brick described in public records.
And then there's the silence, the official silence. How does a network capable of housing millions, a project of national pride, simply vanish from public discourse, replaced by a perfunctory, almost dismissive, "It's closed"? It's an information vacuum that suggests less of an oversight and more of a deliberate, controlled narrative. The lack of detailed demolition records, the absence of public tenders for its dismantlement, even partial, all point to an ongoing, unacknowledged operational status. The ghost network theory, as some refer to it, isn't about the absence of evidence, but the strategic suppression of it.
The suppression is key. When we move beyond the air raid shelter facade, a more complex and frankly unsettling picture emerges. Fragmented intelligence from various unconfirmed sources hints at the Dixia Cheng being less a singular bunker and more a nexus within a far grander, multi-layered subterranean infrastructure. Early reports from a defecting engineer in the mid-80s, for instance, spoke of Level 2 and Level 3 excavations beneath the known Dixia Cheng, connected by high-speed vertical shafts. These lower levels, he claimed, were not designed for civilian use at all, but for secure communication nodes, specialized manufacturing facilities, and classified strategic material storage. Facilities demanding an extreme level of environmental stability and security. These accounts describe automated transport systems, potentially even magnetic levitation lines, facilitating rapid covert movement of personnel and assets across vast unseen distances, linking critical government, military, and even commercial entities. The Dixia Cheng in this context becomes merely the entry vestibule to an entire hidden ecosystem.
So, we're not just talking about an underground city. We're talking about a subterranean nervous system, a parallel Shanghai operating in the shadows, potentially reaching critical nodes far beyond the municipal boundaries. A system designed not for wartime evacuation, but for peacetime strategic control, resource allocation, and perhaps even shadow governance. The sheer audacity of it, if true, transforms a historical curiosity into a living, breathing, unacknowledged extension of state power. This isn't just about what they built. It's about what they continue to manage, what they continue to expand beneath our very feet, unseen and unquestioned.
The Dixia Cheng expansion then takes on a wholly different meaning. It's not about public access or tourism. It's about continuous, covert development. Imagine a vast logistical web extending radially, horizontally, and vertically, servicing critical infrastructure, ensuring uninterrupted command and control. Unconfirmed reports from seismological monitoring stations in the early 2010s detected anomalous, non-tectonic vibrations originating from deep beneath specific districts, patterns inconsistent with standard subway operations or known construction activity. These tremors, often dismissed as industrial noise or minor geological shifts, align suspiciously with the rumored locations of these Level 2 and Level 3 shafts. The implication is a network so robust, so deeply integrated, that its operations generate subtle yet measurable kinetic energy that occasionally bleeds to the surface. Furthermore, there have been whispers, unconfirmed, of specific power grids, wholly independent of the city's main supply, dedicated to these subterranean facilities. A self-sufficient energy infrastructure, ensuring resilience against surface-level disruptions. This suggests a long-term operational strategy, anticipating contingencies far beyond a conventional air raid. This is just about storing grain. It's about securing the operational continuity of an entire strategic apparatus. The ultimate goal, as some analysts hypothesize, could be the creation of a fail-safe city core, capable of functioning autonomously, disconnected from the vulnerabilities of the visible world. The Dixia Cheng, as presented, serves as an ultimate decoy, its official story acting as a conceptual firewall. By allowing a brief controlled glimpse of a historical relic, the true, ongoing, and vastly expanded operational network remains entirely hidden. Any reports of strange activity, unusual vehicle movements in non-public areas, or unexplained access points can then be easily dismissed as relics of the Cold War or misunderstandings. It's a masterful exercise in narrative control, where the truth is obscured not by outright denial, but by the strategic provision of a partial, anachronistic truth.
So, when we discuss the Shanghai underground city, we're left not with a neat historical package, but a sprawling, active enigma. A vast network beneath one of the world's most modern metropolises, humming with unseen activity, its true purpose veiled by decades of official narrative. It begs the question, how much of the gleaming city above is merely a facade, a distraction from the true engine of power and control operating in the deep, silent dark below? What secrets are kept? What operations run? And what expansion continues, untouched by the sun? We are left to simply wonder, what truly lies beneath?